think all my life, I talk about this all the time. Every year of my life, I go through an exploration of what am I going to do with my life? That's how I was all throughout my life, throughout school, college, whatever, going to counselors, going to all kinds of things, taking strong interest tests, doing all that stuff, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. What am I going to be good at? All that stuff. What should I do? And I brainstorm all the time. And now here I am at my second chance at exploring that again, now that I'm a free agent. And you know what? I ended up brainstorming again, writing a list, but I tried to be a little bit more open minded. In the past, I just, list out all the things I'm good at or that I like doing and trying to create, how can I make money from those things? And I just never nothing spoke to me enough for me to take action, even though a lot of them sound good on paper. And so this time, I still brainstorm, but I think I'm looking at it from a different point of view. And I also feel like I'm a little bit wiser now. And I'm trying to be a little bit more organic about it. And I think it's time that while I have these ideas, I just need to start throwing these ideas at the wall and see what sticks. I know that normally isn't the go-to for things. You don't really want to do that because you could be wasting your time or whatever. But for me, it's an exploration, and I kind of need to just do it to know whether or not. And the fact that I have to choose something to start to do is is something, for me, even if it's nothing, it's something, and I think that that's important that I'm doing something. And so part of that something is doing these live streams, practicing Tai Chi, and it gives me opportunity to think out loud. And so I'm doing that. And I have a couple other ideas that I may end up trying. But initially, what I am doing is this. And I'm also working for Easy Cat, working on some ideas. And I'm also working on Giggles and Games. Now, none of this stuff immediately translates to any form of being able to make a living. Okay. So, unfortunately, it's kind of like I kind of have to stick to it and see what happens. So, I am giving myself until this is, I don't know if this is really going to be true, but I'm telling myself I'm going to see what happens until November 1st before I reassess and determine whether or not I need to just get a job. I have a couple ideas for what getting a job would be. I have one in particular, but it might not be available anymore by the time I decide I want it. But for now, the closest thing to being able to make a living is possibly working for Easy Cat, my husband. But again, that will not really produce anything for a while. So I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to stick with doing Giggles and Games, the other podcast slash YouTube show that I do, which is something I've been doing for over a year now. So I'm going to focus a little bit on that. So every other day, I kind of go back and forth between those two projects. And I'm trying to find a third thing to kind of add in between that is just me. And right now, it's this streaming Tai Chi thing. And I may try one other thing. I'm not sure yet, but somebody helped me with an idea this morning, and maybe it is something that I used to or I have been wanting to do that I haven't explored. I don't know. It's time for exploration. That's what I'm doing. So let's begin. I'm doing Tai Chi 8 form Yang style, and if you know it, or something like it, or if you just want to practice whatever you know, feel free practice with me. However, this is not a class. I'm not teaching anything. I'm just practicing on my own. And I'm gonna check something. Jason just sent me a message, so I just want to make sure I check that. Oh, okay. Yes, I can. Let me respond to him. Yes, I can. All right, grand, splendiferous. All right, boopity boop, boop, boop. So let's do that. So I'm gonna start with a little warm it up, Chris, with my left ankle, because I'm about to, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm about to, because that's what I'm going to do. And then I do my right ankle. If you need a little refresh of what I began this with, feel free, because I know some people are kind of joining now, possibly, possibly not. I typically kind of send out a notification of these streams through a couple different sources, and some people join, some people don't. The most I've ever had was six. But as far as people sticking to it, like um, staying and or returning would be uh Luna 26X, also known as Giggles or Laquita and many other names. Um, so this for your knees. You couldn't tell. Knees. I have to do that one. So this is typically the first thing I do in the morning after I take care of our cats. I don't eat or do anything. I just take care of the cats, and then I come straight out here and do this. So let's do leg and hips before I get to my voice. One creative who's definitely, I feel like, is doing and exploring in the manner in which I am kind of talking about is my friend Olive. She's often told me that I was a source of her inspiration, and you know what? It is really the same the other way around. She is a huge source of inspiration for me because she's also exploring, and I see what she does, and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. That's one thing I miss about New York, but that doesn't mean I can't do it here. I just, I'm sure there's venues here and people here, who do other artistic things. Like I really like doing performance art and stuff like that, and just kind of improv import performance related stuff, especially with movement and sound. I'm not really good with improv with words outside of just talking like I am now. Um, I'm more of a mover and noisemaker. I like making noises. I like expressing myself through noise. Could that be a something that's scalable? Making noises. I mean, I'm not a professional at making noises. I'm not like one of those people who could like make myself sound like different animals or sirens or I mean, I don't know. I mean, I may or may not be able to, but I'm not very good or consistent. Let's just say that. And that's one of my biggest things is I think that I'm not bad. I'm decent at a lot of things. But I'm not great. I don't know at any one thing outside of maybe obsessing or organizing or something like that. Um, I have pretty good intuition. I can read people, but all this to say is that not much is consistent outside of just me being who I am, I guess. And it's kind of hard to sell those skills unless I'm just selling myself. And honestly, that's what I've been coming to recently. Like that's why I do these streams because I'm like, maybe what I'm selling is just me because having a hard time selling much else when I'm thinking about, doing something for myself. That is, you know what I'm saying? Double dutch, double dutch, double dutch, double dutch, double dutch. Yeah, this really is a good opportunity for me is kind of think out loud. I am a think out loud type of person anyway. But this is a lot of good practice. It's almost therapeutic also, and it's good practice for me for speaking because I feel like sometimes, you fall out of practice in speaking publicly or speaking to others in a manner that can express what you really want to express. I often have difficulty explaining things, especially when it's on the cuff, like in answering questions, or like in a class or stuff like that, or when being called upon to give an opinion about something. Sometimes that's very difficult for me. I have a difficult time, either putting things into words or even coming up with an idea, just a comment or a thought or an opinion about something sometimes. Just the way my brain kind of works. I think I just need to go about it in a different manner, I guess. I just haven't completely figured that out yet, but I know that when I'm put on a spot or feel like I'm put on a spot to explain something, I often, if I haven't rehearsed it enough in my own head, I often lose it and I forget, or I end up needing to replace words because I can no longer remember what I'm talking about, and I end up choosing things that just come into my brain that could be completely incorrect. And then I sound really stupid, or I get misunderstood because of the words I use or how I put them together, which kind of sucks. Hello, there's actually someone here. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Super appreciate that because I think you may be the only person who have subscribed. I appreciate that. So really, yeah, I'm practicing Tai Chi and I kind of just talk about, I guess, in a way, life. And today I'm talking about the fact that I currently am out of work. So what am I going to do with myself? And I'm kind of more in the creative end of things. And so I'm trying to find out something I can do for myself that will help me to feel fully self expressed and be able to make a living. And right now, I am just doing my warm up and stretch before I do my practice. I've been trying to strengthen my practice. And for me, that means being able to be a little bit more grounded and lower. And so I've been working more on strengthening my legs a little bit more and being able to stretch more so that I can be a little bit lower in my practice. If you also do Tai Chi, feel free. Obviously, you could practice while I'm doing it as well, and feel free to add whatever else you feel you need to do in regards to warming up, stretching. Again, this isn't a class or anything, so it's really just like a practice session. I always thought it'd be fun if I kind of did this like at a park and just put up a sign saying practice Tai Chi with me or whatever, and kind of just show up every week in the park and practice, um, and see if anyone ever joins me. Kind of still like that idea. But again, I don't know what that would lead to. And I know that at some point I am going to need to potentially just bite the bullet and get a job because I can only survive for so long without making money, right? So I'm stretching, as you can see. Today's not too crazy hot, which is really nice. I actually feel a slight breeze. Typically hold this stretch for 20 to 30 seconds, roughly. What do I want for myself? That is the question. That's so difficult for me. I'm just gonna hang over and stretch a little bit more. Going to try to reach down a little bit lower over the 20 to 30 seconds, and pull down from my waist versus pulling my head and upper body down, in a stretch. Sometimes I'll grab my legs too and kind of pull myself a little bit to give myself some assistance there. Soften the knees, back up. The only other thing I typically do is some leg work, a little bit more leg work, which is for me, is just really this. It's very simple. Just doing some simple leg lifts, do maybe 20, maybe 30. Then I go on to my side and I work on these hip muscles. I don't know what they call hip flexors, but I kind of do these raises here on my knee. And I do one of these, 20 here. I really should have finished all these first before I stretch. Sometimes when I talk, I kind of on automatic, so I kind of just do things and think of things as I go. So none of these are meant to like really, really work me out. It's really just a warm up, really. Even though for me, because I'm out of shape, I kind of probably does wear me out a little bit. Do the other side. If I stop talking, it means I'm focusing, which is good and important to do. All right, so I'm going to begin my practice. Typically, I do the Yang style 8 form Tai Chi facing this way and then that way. And I do it two on each side for a total of four at minimum. That way, it's for two reasons. That way, I guess if you're also doing the same exact form, we can do it together and you can actually follow me when I'm facing that way or do it with me, not follow me. You know what I mean? And also so that, I'm not just putting my back to the sun or facing the sun for all 4 times, give myself equal sun time. Apparently, it's good to sweat on your back, putting your back against the sun for about 10 minutes a day. I don't know if it's in a specific time of year or something because my mom mentioned that to me. Uh, she's also the one who taught me some Tai Chi, or taught me Tai Chi rather. And it's kind of like she says, it's the benefit is kind of that of cupping, if you're familiar with that practice or that whatever you want to call it. All right, so I'm gonna focus a little. Typically, when I start out, I try to just really do it simply to make sure I'm doing it correctly, the form and stuff like that. And then the last 2 times, maybe I'll focus a little bit more on deepening my stance and flow and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm really just focusing and really trying to do it. Uh, Good focusing exercise. So it's very much like meditation or yoga in that way. Like, maybe to maybe not focus so much on getting lower because my right knee has been kind of consistently bothering me. Maybe I need to give it a little bit of rest. This actually is not helping too much. Even though I'm not going super low, it's actually still bothering me. That hurts a little. That hurts a little. My right knee. That hurts a little on my right knee. Interesting. This does not hurt on my right knee. That hurt for some reason. Typically, you want to end where you began. However, my space is limited. All right, so I'm going to start again facing this direction. Again, I'll probably be adjusting my movement. Otherwise, I'll step off this patio or walk into the door. Gonna take a quick sippy sip. Doing something like this is also a great practice to practice in being as natural and organic as possible while you're on camera. Because for time, you're gonna get so used to it that you're gonna just be yourself. And the fact that no one is watching is absolutely fine. That's fine because it still helps you because it's in the back of your mind that you're thinking, oh, I'm being recorded or you're going to post it later. Someone might watch it, whatever. But the fact that in the back of your head, even though the universe always is watching, having this camera saying, I'm recording you, you actively, proactively, and live streaming or recording. And so in the back of your head, but the practice is to have a balance where you can really just be yourself without being too aware of that fourth wall, so that you can be as natural and organic as possible. But then you still know that there's this fourth wall. So you want to make sure maybe people can see you or hear you, and even if no one is actually watching at the time. So it's good practice for getting a sense of your surroundings and all those things. So that one day, when someone does watch, that will help you to not come out of your body and out of your mind into, oh, what are they thinking? Or am I entertaining enough? Or is this what they want? It's good practice for that too. Like sometimes there'll be one person watching me and then I'll slightly become more self-conscious, and that's good practice to not feel self-conscious anymore, right? And that, don't feel like you have a responsibility to entertain or to do anything else that you don't want to do. So if you are entertaining, it's because you want to be. And that's part of my practice as well, because I do like performance. So it gives me an opportunity to perform to the universe, but kind of acknowledging and also holding myself accountable by making use of practice in which I do every day, in which I stream and record. It's as if it's as if I have a partner. Even when no one is watching, it's as if you have a partner, like when you need someone else to kind of or hold you accountable, like, oh, me and my friend at the gym, I have to go. Or, I do this with this person. So gotta do it. I can't let them down, that kind of thing. And you kind of help perpetuate these practices and habits together. And that's what this does. So if you ever want to create a habit, this could be a way to do it. Um, it's a way to do it. And for me, that's a really good thing because forever I've just been procrastinating and all that stuff in regards to making content. What do I do? I don't know what to film. I don't know all these questions. When all you really need to do is just do it. Who cares if no one watches? It's an exploration. It's practice. You're doing it, and you're doing it for you. That's what's more important. So do it for you. And then over time, it will evolve. It will become something, or you'll move on from it, whatever. But you're not wasting any more time than you would if you weren't doing it, right? Hopefully, because I'm making this as simple as possible. All you do is push a button, and then I do it. Good practice. This is our last one. Yep. It's a little harder to balance when you have your eyes closed. Really trying to do things with intention. I'm adjusting for space here in case you're doing this with me. Sometimes you just love life. Gonna do a cool down, take it off a little bit. Think about all the things you're grateful for, how lucky you are to have what you have, despite what you don't have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Deep inhale and up, under the nose and out your mouth. Three more with your diaphragm. Grateful for humanity, for what humanity there is. If you're losing count, it don't matter. Breathe. We're going to do four more, but this time we're going to push up as well. Pushing any negative thoughts and energy back into the universe. And keep inhaling all good thoughts and energy in. Two more. Now I'm going to keep it low here. Inhale. Listen to your surroundings. Acknowledge feelings and continue to move on. Two more. Fill yourself in the universe with light incoming. Now, keep your knees soft. In the practice of Tai Chi and Qigong, which we are not doing, we're just doing Tai Chi. But in the practice, you said that there are a lot of nutrients in our saliva after the practice, and that we can give it back to ourselves by swallowing our saliva. And we will do so three times, each time taking our time in following it and visualizing it coming down into your center or your dantian, which is an inch and a half below your belly button. And part of that practice is that the center points of each palm is going to be stacked over the center of your body, the dantian. For men, it's left and then right over left. For women, it's right and then left over right. This is a practice that I've been taught. I don't really understand the reason for it yet. However, I think it has to do with meridian lines. In the case, there is no harm in adopting this practice, and you're welcome to not adapt it yourself and not use it yourself, rather. Okay. So take your time in doing this, and I'm going to close my eyes. And when you're done, just drop your hands. Thank you. Thank you for this practice. Thank you for anyone who's here with us, with all of us. Appreciate all that's around you, everything that is and we have. Thank you. And we end with the simple salute representing heaven and earth coming together, or what I like to adopt, which is the idea of heart, friendship, peace coming together, respect. Thank you and a wonderful have a wonderful day.